And now it's time for today's afternoon edition op-ed. Here's Rob Snow.
He wanted you to call him Charlie. Not Mr. MacMillan, not Sir. Just Charlie. That was his style. Charlie was a high school teacher. My favorite high school teacher. He was a teacher that could teach the teachers a thing or two. Among Charlie's most prized material possessions was a boat, the High Lady. And if you were lucky, like I was, to have Charlie as your teacher, there was always an annual day trip out on the water aboard the High Lady. A once-a-year treat, a day on the waters off Cape Breton Island. And if you were ever to bump into a former student of Charlie's, one of their first questions would always be, did he ever take you out on his boat? It was a rite of passage. 20 years ago, I was on that boat, along with all my classmates. And it was during that day, away from school, the center of my little universe at the time, that Charlie told me something that has stuck with me my entire life. Rob, he said, things always look different from the water. I don't think he meant for it to be profound. They were just words said in passing at the time. But you see, Cape Bretoners like me, we spend most of our lives looking out at an endless ocean. Water, as far as the eye can see, water. It's daunting sometimes, as though you're standing on the edge of the world. But the view from Charlie's boat turned that upside down and around 180 degrees. Instead of looking out, you're looking back. You're looking back at where you came from, and you become part of that great unknown. I met Charlie when I was all of 17. He was only 40. Charlie MacMillan had movie star good looks that made the girls swoon and the boys jealous. He was one of the best hockey players our town ever had, played varsity for the mighty X-Men of St. of X, when that really meant something. And he wore that X ring with pride. He coached our high school hockey team for a while. He loved cars. You could always get him off topic in class just by talking about cars, fast cars, fixing cars, anything to do with cars. He had a little antique Mercedes convertible, and you'd see him scooting around town, top down, sunglasses on, that wavy mane of hair flying in the wind. And in the winter months, if Charlie wasn't in the classroom, chances are he was on a ski hill somewhere. He was happiest, I think, with 2 skis on his feet, 2 poles in his hand, goggles on his eyes, going down the side of a mountain. And I can't count the number of students Charlie taught to ski. Inside the classroom, his teaching style, well, to say the least, it was a little unconventional. He wasn't a big fan of taking attendance. You'd pass if you showed up, fail if you didn't. It was really that simple. There were textbooks. We rarely opened them. There was a chalkboard we barely used, and an overhead projector that would collect dust. For Charlie, school was about creativity. And he challenged you day in and day out to be creative, to take all that restless teenage energy and angst and harness it and use it and make something out of nothing. That was all he really asked for. Cape Breton was a pretty poor place 20 years ago. The coal mines were closed. Steel plant on its last legs. No real fishery to speak of anymore. There was a lot of unemployment and all the social problems that go along with that. And a lot of hopelessness. Charlie wanted you to see beyond all of that. Wanted you to know that there were opportunities out there if you just put a little effort in. And to inspire you to prove it. There was always an endless stream of guest speakers in our classroom, people who had gone away or gone out west and made good. Many years later, when you were all grown up, if you bumped into Charlie, the last thing he would always say to you was, "You'll have to come and speak to my class sometime." Charlie finally left the classroom a few years back, started his well-deserved retirement. having sent thousands of young men and women out into the world, prepared for just about any of the challenges that may lie ahead. I was deeply saddened this week to learn that Charlie passed away suddenly while on a ski trip in British Columbia, far too soon, at the age of 60. Rest in peace, Charlie, my teacher, my friend. Thank you for teaching me that things always look different from the water.